It is I, Tentus now Van Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome! It is time to continue my discussion of the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons, 5th Ed D&D. When we last left off, we dove into treasure, and particularly we've been diving into magic items. Well, today we're going to finish up with magic items, with the most powerful ones of them all, artifacts. So artifacts are ancient, powerful magic items far beyond the scopes of any mere mortal. They are said to have been created by gods themselves, or perhaps legendary, powerful mortals who found some secret in the ways to craft and forge them and unleash them upon the world. Some magic items fall into the hands of those when they are most needed, when they are most ready to use them. Others fall into the hands at the worst possible time, causing the worst troubles to all the lands themselves. Regardless, when you consider an artifact for your adventures as the Dungeon Master, think carefully. Think of how this item will alter the shape of your very adventure, that you almost have to shape your adventure around it to a degree. It will be perfectly important in everything that you're going to do. Never should your characters just come across an artifact as part of an adventure. No, it should be something they seek, something that they will quest with through research, go on amazing adventures, or perhaps something that's fallen in the hands of a villain to use to their great power, and perhaps now your players have to retrieve it, maybe even destroy it, find a way to remove it from the world so evil may not use it again. No, the incidental artifact is not something you will do. It's not something you should do. Because of the nature of it, you will ruin many a games by using incidental in the word artifact together. Now, every artifact has its own magical properties, incredibly powerful magical properties. And these extend beyond just the nature of them as a magic item. Many of them do have a nature as just that, a magic item. But they will also have powerful properties that can be both beneficial and detrimental. The fact is that when you are designing your own magic artifact, or just using one of the pre-made ones, you will check to see or figure out these beneficial and detrimental aspects every time. Every time an artifact appears, it will appear in its own unique form, its own unique set of circumstances that maybe it would get lucky and it would be exactly the same. But the fact is it could be completely different every time. The artifact itself, aspects of its nature, could be different. Now, what do I mean by this? There's a number of charts in the book. Minor beneficial, major beneficial, minor detrimental, major detrimental. These 4 charts here, you are allowed to choose a number of traits from them or roll on each of those and apply them to your artifact. This means whether I designed that artifact with specific purposes and abilities in mind, or I used a pre-made one, I'm going to applying these benefits to it to alter it and make it unique. Now, you should have only 4 of any of the minor effects, beneficial or detrimental, and 2 of any of the major effects, beneficial, detrimental, again. Your choice on whether to balance these, to use any detrimental, any beneficial, is completely up to you. You could figure it out randomly, however you want to determine your combination of these that are upon this artifact will be up to you as the Dungeon Master. Now, artifacts, beyond all this, are nigh indestructible. There's virtually no way to destroy one. They are immune to all types of damage. But every artifact has one way which it can be destroyed and rid from the world. For example, if we talked about Lord of the Rings, the One Ring thrown into Mount Doom. That is the one way that ring could have been destroyed. Every other artifact, similarly, has one way that it may be removed from the universe. Now, your players will not know this to begin with. If they seek to destroy the item, it will require research or perhaps even quests on themselves to find the secrets of this artifact and to learn what they may do to perhaps rid it from the universe. Or maybe they might need to know this for some kind of bit of information. Whatever reason, it's the same reason they might research for discovering the artifact in the first place. Could be different. But finding it out is an adventure in and of itself, and learning how to destroy this powerful item, which maybe they need to. Maybe they don't, but maybe they need to. Now, the book does list a number of suggestions when it comes to artifacts. They're basically examples you could use yourself, using the basic beneficial, detrimental lists to add a little bit of uniqueness to your own version of this artifact, or you could use them as examples in order to figure out one. It's the same with the destruction. There are examples of ways to destroy artifacts in the book. You can take any of these, use them as an example. Same with all the beneficial, detrimental effects. You could also come up with your own, use as an example. Everything here does allow you to create your own. Gives you an idea of what you would do for making your own artifact. You just have to make sure it works within the setting you're building into regardless. When you're designing your own artifact, you're planning a campaign or some kind of adventure around it in the first place to add it in. Now, treasure, we've been talking about how it represents just gold, items, everything like that. But that's not the only thing you can get. There are other great things that your characters can receive that are bonuses to them, rewards for their actions. Land, titles, boons from the gods all represent great bonuses that are granted upon them for their very actions, for the very things they do, that they earn these in the world, and it fills them with joy. It's a reward for the actions you've done. I'm granted land, a title. The gods have smiled upon me. I'm rewarded. So, let's talk about the supernatural side here. There are, in fact, supernatural rewards that can be granted. Oftentimes, if your characters have great momentous activities, whether good or bad, that beings will see. Mortals and gods alike will see that they have done this momentous thing, and perhaps want to reward them. In the case of a boon is a gift from a god. A benefit that a god grants down upon you for what you have done. Does not say good god, does not say evil god. You could grant either type of boon. You've just done something that god says, you get a boon. You have earned this. Now the other type of supernatural is a charm. A charm is an object that represents some kind of magical energy. Perhaps a charm is formed from a particular area, from some kind of particular spiritual being that is filled with great magic. Or perhaps even something that is of legend itself, something that in game terms would have legendary actions, could create a charm and grant it upon you to grant yourself an additional boons. Now this seems much like a magic item and would be of course held like one, but it does not require attunement, which is one of the benefits of it. I can have this charm without attuning. But that's it for today. So I talked about artifacts. The last type of magic item, the most powerful type of magic item that you, as a dungeon master, will have to use wisely when you do use it. So think about that. Powerful, but wisdom. Be ready when you use an artifact. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. I've talked about the rest. Then, of course, we started talking about non-monetary rewards, non-physical rewards. Granted, charms to a degree are a physical thing, but they're not really something that can be stolen from you. They might be represented by a small item, but they're not. It's the blessing itself in a way. One is of the gods, one is of just a particular powerful entity, place. Regardless, I will be diving deeper into blessings and charms next time and kind of explain them to you. And the fact that, neither can be stolen from you once they are granted by you. Only the being that gave them to you can remove them from you, though they're each sort of represented in different ways. We will kind of move on to, after that, more rewards you can get that will represent rewards for your actions. But I hope you're having a great day, and until the next time, I bid you farewell.